Alrighty-roo, it is Friday. It is time for your full house clean. I've got a bucket full of goodies, including a feather duster, because today, despite it being a really sweatingly hot day, I'm going to be, well, trying to go all out. I started with good intentions. By the time I got to the second room, though, I'd stopped cleaning as deeply as I did in our room. It just got too hot. I didn't realise how bad it would be once I started moving around. It's all right when you're chilling on the sofa or out in the garden on your little sun lounger with your shorts and t-shirt on. It's not so bad then. But you start moving around in this heat and boy, oh boy, do you notice it. So, like I say, I did start with good intentions of dusting everywhere. I even stood on the bed and tried to dust the lampshade. And as you can see, I'm not exactly stable on the bed. I was wibbling and falling all over the flipping shop. I never actually fell down though, but I really, really felt off balance. My balance is terrible. Like if I stand still and shut my eyes, I feel like I'm going to fall over. I would do really badly in one of those field sobriety tests, you know, when they make you stand with your feet together, close your eyes, tip your head back and then touch your own nose. I'd be sitting on the floor simply because I'd shut my eyes. I mean, I don't drink alcohol. Well, I'm not teetotal. Like I will drink it on the odd occasion. But as a rule, I tend not to drink alcohol. So my blood alcohol levels, wow, words are difficult. Why do I always get that? Anyway, my blood alcohol level would be like well below 0. But I'd still fail that field sobriety test because I just have no balance. I don't know what it is. An inner ear problem? A body composition problem? I have no idea what it is, but something causes me to wibble wobble, fall over all over the place. So let's get back to some cleaning talk. No one wants to hear about me falling down and yeah. Well, maybe you do. Do you know what? I think it's quite funny when people fall down. I try not to laugh because it's socially inappropriate to laugh at people when they fall down. But for me, I can't help it. I have to laugh. Just break into laughter. There's Alyssa. Come to join me. It's really weird nowadays. I used to clean the house when everybody was at work or at school. Had the whole house to myself. I could put something on Netflix or Prime, whatever I wanted, or on YouTube. I could just watch whatever I wanted. Listen to music if I wanted. Could have all the windows open. I had free run of the house, so I could just get on with it. There was no interruption. There was no cup of tea being made. I didn't have to think that once I'd cleaned it, someone would be behind me, like using something. I just cleaned the whole house. And it took me a couple of hours, and sometimes it could take me the whole day if I was doing a deep clean. But now it's really weird. Since the kids left school, I don't think I've been on my own in the house for more than an hour at a time. We home educated our kids. So Alyssa made it to year 11. And I think we pulled her out either just as she was going into year 11 or just after she got into year 11. I'm not quite sure when we removed her from education. Craig, he started September in secondary school and he was unwell in the December. He caught a cold in the December and they were just about to break up for that half term and I thought he'll go back in January. So I kept him off for a few days because obviously he was unwell. And then I was just going to send him back after the school holidays in January. And he never went back. We pulled him out of education and we home educated. There was many reasons that went into making that decision, which I can make a video about if you're interested in hearing why we decided to home educate our children. But yeah, we decided to home educate. So when do you start year 7? You start year 7 when you're 11 years old, don't you? and Craig's now 17, so that's 6 years. 6 years I've had like someone in the house almost all the time with me. Obviously, when Craig started college, I had Dell at home. If Dell's at work and Craig's at college, Alyssa's normally on a day off. Yeah, it's very rare I get to clean the whole house from top to bottom, just me on my own going through it. I find I'm less distracted now. I used to be really bad. Like, if someone was home with me, I wouldn't get any cleaning done all day, every day. I'm still, like now, being distracted by the dogs or a person coming in and talking to me or whatever. I seem to stop and I'll converse with them or, look at whatever it is they need to show me on their phone. And then I'll find like 10, 20 minutes has passed now. Like, I need to get cleaning. And I just don't seem to get it all done as quickly as I would anticipate doing it because I constantly get distracted. I distract my own darn self. So yeah, having people around the house is nice. I like having people here and people to chat to, but it really slows me down because I use it as an excuse to get distracted. And I use it as an excuse not to do the things I need to do a lot of the time. But I am getting better. I am noticing it and I am like, I've got to carry on cleaning. I've got to get this done. I actually need to book a few days holiday off of work because there's so much I want to get done. Not so much need to get done. I mean, there are some things I need to get done. But there's so much I want to get done and I need some time off work to be able to get those things done. I also need a trip to Great Yarmouth. Yes, I do. A trip to my favourite place in the world. I need to get some little, what are they called? Like ornaments. That's the word I'm after. Little ornaments and things like that for the hallway. Just something to dress it up a little bit. I think it looks like a beautiful, beautiful space. And from comments I'm receiving, a lot of you feel the same, which I am over the moon about. I'm absolutely over the moon about that. But I want a few little, just a couple of little knickknacks, just a little thing here and a little thing there that will just make the space better. Oh, I forgot I did this. So I shut the curtains to keep the heat out because, it stops the sun coming in. It was also hotter outside than it was inside, so having the windows open just let heat in. But I put the fan on for the dog. He stays upstairs almost all day, every day, this dog. He will sleep on our bed all day till we come up at about 9 o'clock, and then he'll lay with us for maybe an hour while we watch something and just sort of relax. And then maybe about 9, well, no, we come up at 8 and he stays with us till 9, yeah. Then at 9 o'clock he goes downstairs, he goes out for his last toilets at night, and then he sleeps downstairs on his own all night on the sofa. And then in the morning we get up, we go downstairs. I'm up at about, normally between sort of 5 and 6 o'clock, generally 6 o'clock. Sometimes it's a bit earlier, but yeah. I get up, let him out, give him his breakfast, and then he'll sit downstairs with me for a little bit. And then as soon as he hears Dell's awake, that's it, dog's gone. He's off upstairs to give Daddy a good morning cuddle, get Daddy out of bed, and then Dell will come downstairs and Woody stays upstairs most of the day. Again, I don't know, he's the most antisocial dog we've ever had, who is also quite sociable. I mean, he loves people. He loves attention, he loves a cuddle, he loves his kisses, but he's much more like a cat. He likes them on his terms. If you try giving him cuddles or fussing and he doesn't want it, he talks to you, he does this little, it's not a growl, it's we call it gruring. He does it's like I say, it's not a growl, it's like a huff, it's like, sort of a thing. It's like, I really don't want to be hugged now. And it's kind of like a sigh, but there's almost like a growly noise in there, but it's not a growl. It's so hard to describe. I'll have to try and film it one day so you can hear his his grumpy noise when he's being given affection and he doesn't want affection. We are normally quite good with him. We'll ask him if he wants a cuddle, and normally he'll flop his head on you for cuddles. And you can ask him if he wants kisses, and he'll either give you a kiss or he'll turn his head away and be like, no thank you. And normally we're quite good. We generally respect his boundaries, and we're like, we'll leave you be, mate. But yeah, he's a bit cranky at the minute as well because he's very, very hot, and he seems to get like allergies, like hay fevery, hivey type allergies. It's the weirdest thing. It's not a flea allergy, but he gets itchy, scratchy, and us as well where he's molting. I can imagine that's really uncomfortable for the poor little mite as well. So, oh, sorry, Poodle. I didn't realise I caught him with my foot. But yeah, he's quite uncomfortable at the minute. We did give him a nice de-shed bath, and that's helped, I think. We do also have like antihistamines for him if he gets particularly bad. He's not doing so badly this year, though. At the start of this hot weather, he was really uncomfortable. He's proper itching all the time, the poor little soul. Poor little soul. Oops, nearly said a bad word. We have tried different diets and things for him, thinking maybe it was like a wheat allergy, something in his food causing the allergies. Like I said, it's definitely not a flea allergy. He is treated for those very, very regularly. Obviously, they're still going to get them from time to time, and they can still get bitten by a flea while they're out and about in the long grass or wherever. But he seems to get it at the start of summer, like the first few days of the hot weather sets him off a treat, itching. And I suspect, honestly, it's kind of like maybe like a pollen allergy, because he runs through the long grass and obviously the pollen gets over his skin. And I'm wondering if it's like a grass allergy or something similar to that, because he'll often lick like his little feet, and he's obviously scratching where he's running through the long grass. But obviously as the grass starts to dry up in heat, it's not producing as much pollen. So yeah, I genuinely think it's a grass allergy or something like that. But either way, he's got his antihistamines if he needs them, and a nice bath and a de-shed tends to help quite regularly. But yeah, he's a bit uncomfortable at the moment, the poor little soul. He'll get there. He'll be all right. We do have a swimming pool for him. I don't know if I mentioned that a minute ago. My brain doesn't retain information for very long. But he does have like a little paddling pool. We was out there last night, or not last night, we was out there a few nights ago. We were looking for shooting stars. The sky was beautifully clear. We got like blankets, we laid out in the garden and we just watched the sky. And Woody kept climbing in and out of the paddling pool. He was loving it. He sits in it and lays in it. He just walks about in it. He absolutely loves a little paddling pool. I'm thinking when I can afford it, I'm going to get him a big, deeper swimming pool so he can actually swim. Because at the moment, the little paddling pool, he can lay down in it and keep his head above water. It's not a problem. But I want one he can actually swim in. I think he'd like that. I'm going to have to measure how tall Woody is, because I was thinking of getting like a swimming pool that's about 4 foot deep. Because that'd be a nice depth for us as well. You know, we could get in the water with the dog and help him swim, play ball, that sort of thing. But I'm guessing he would only need maybe 2 foot deep. I don't know what that is in metres or centimetres. It drives me absolutely wild. Every time I've been on Amazon looking for a swimming pool for us, some do it in centimetres, some do it in metres, some do it in feet and inches, some only do it in inches. And I'm like, can we not just have a universal measure, please? Why do we need it? Why? So I know obviously like we need millimetres for things like screwdrivers, sockets, spanners, that sort of thing. Small precision type DIY work. I understand that much. But when you get to like, I don't know what like when you step up. But when you get to like 1,000 millimetres, that's 1 centimetre. Okay, so then you get like 1.5 centimetres. When you get to 100 centimetres, that should then be a metre. Obviously, I don't know if 100 centimetres is a metre. I have no idea when it comes to maths. lengths, weights, or any of that jazz. But let's say you get to 100 centimetres, that then becomes a metre. After a metre, 100 centimetres is a metre. So you do 1 metre, 5 centimetres, or 1.5 metres, right? But no, so a lot of the time they'll do 6,000 centimetres. And I'm like, what is 6,000 centimetres then? And Dell's like, well, it works out about 6.3 metres or something. Well, why not put 6.3 metres? And again, yes, I know I'm completely off with my conversions, completely. I'm exampling them. But there's so many companies or places do that. If as soon as you've got 1,000 centimetres, you should be using metre, 1.5 metres, 2.5 metres, 2 3/4 metres, 2.5, And then after that, once you get past a metre, you should be in kilometres, because that's the next step up, It's 1 through 10, 10 through 20. You don't suddenly say 202s, do you? No, you say 222. It drives me absolutely mental. And then some people measure in feet and inches. Well, now I've got to not only work out how many centimetres that is, but I've got to work it out in metres. It just baffles my brain. What was wrong with feet and inches? Why do we have to give up feet and inches? I don't know why we gave feet and inches up. I really don't. What's really weird, though, is I apparently am of a generation where I should have learnt in school in metres and kilometres. I should have learnt that. But I didn't learn that way. I'm sure I learnt feet and inches, because if someone tells me, oh, it's about 3 foot long, I know roughly in my head how big that is. Obviously, if I need it to fit in a gap, I'm going to measure the gap. But I know roughly in my head what something looks like when it's measured in feet. But apparently, I learned everything in metres. I don't think I did. So answers on a postcard. Well, answers in the comment section below. If you are a child of the 90s, you grew up in the 90s, you were in secondary school in the 90s, did you learn in metres or did you learn in feet and inches? Because I'm pretty sure I learned in feet and inches. Also, did you make the conversion to kilos, or were we still in pounds when you were at school? Because I still remember it being pounds, not kilos. I ain't got a clue what I weigh in kilos, but I know in pounds. Even the speedometer in my car is confused. It will tell me in miles per hour and kilometres per hour how fast I'm going. And also, I've got a 1.5 litre car, right? 1.5 litre engine. Now, that's fine. And I'm sure petrol's charged, or diesel is charged by the litre, which is fine. But then I've got a certain gallon tank. And my car does X amount of miles to the gallon. Well, that's great. I've just filled the car up with 20 litres of petrol, for example. But I get 3 miles to the gallon. So without a master's degree in maths, how far can I go in my car before I need more petrol? Thankfully, I've got that nice little thing on the dashboard that tells me how far I can go before I run out of petrol, and that's set to miles. So I'm pretty sure I know where I stand with that. I know it's 12 miles to work and 6 miles to town or whatever. So I know roughly what I'm playing with when it comes to that. However, have you ever been driving along and your sat-nav says turn left in 1 mile? And you're thinking, pal, I ain't got a clue what 1 mile is. There's no, on the motorways there are, and the big dual carriageways, they have the junction markers, don't they? That tell you you're 3 miles, 2 miles, 1 mile away from the junction, and then ta-da, there is the junction. But on a normal road, on a normal average Commodore Garden road, you don't have mile markers, because otherwise each length of road would just have 200, 300, however many depending on the length of the road mile markers. And that would just be unfeasible. So now your sat nav's giving you a distance, but not a single person that I know of is able to, in their head, picture and tell me how far a mile is, roughly. You know, I don't understand it. I really don't. And here's something else I don't get. I really don't understand it. I mean, I kind of understand that it happens, but I don't understand, like, why, you know, and where it's ever going to end. And that is inflation. Like, every April, that sounded really weird. Every April we get a pay rise, right? The government, it's a universal thing. Out it comes, pay rise every April. Usually not a lot, but, you know, something's better than nothing. I'm not complaining. But the cost of living then goes up more than your pay rise. Well, okay, fine. I don't understand that. Surely you'd want people spending their money, because then we get taxed on that money and you get lots of pennies from that. But, you know, fair enough. You know, we get, like, inflation goes up like, I don't know, 10%. And your wage increase is only 5%, you're not going to be able to afford all those things anymore. But either way, whatever. What I don't understand, though, is it ever going to end? Or are we going to end up like, I don't know, China or one of them other countries? Like, things are like, oh, I don't know, I've never been out there, but like 1,000 yen? Is that the currency out there? I don't know. But is that what we're going to be like? Apologies to anyone from China that I may have just insulted. I don't know a lot about other countries or their money, like how, like what their money's called or how it works. But is that going to be how we're ending up? Like, is a bag of carrots going to cost you £2 million? And your wages, are they going to be like £50 million an hour? Like, eventually, is that what's going to happen? When does it stop? Like, when I was first started work, I could only imagine being paid £12 plus an hour to do my job. I think when I started working, like properly working, like I left school and was proper working, I think I was on like £5 or £6 an hour. Yeah, I'm sure I was. And that to me seemed like a fair amount of money. But then certain chocolate bars, I think most of us are very aware of it, so we'll use the name, Freddos, they were only 10p. Like a can of pop when I was at school was like 50p. Now you're lucky if you can buy a can of pop from like one of those street vendors for less than £3. We actually went, myself and Dale, Alyssa got him tickets to go and see a UB40. Well, is it Ali Campbell? She got us tickets to go and see him. And they had like street vendors, market stall thingies that were doing like burgers and, you know, general sorts of that sort of thing. And on some of them, I kid you not, £3.80 for a can of pop. Or a can of water. I've never had a can of water before. That was an interesting experience. I won't be doing that again. Ugh. Bottle of water, not a can of water. It was really odd drinking out of a can of water. But yeah. So, you know, now a Freddo, I don't know what a Freddo costs now. 60p, 80p? It's been a long time since I've had a Freddo. But I'm on £12 odd an hour and Freddos are really expensive. Where does it end? Are my grandchildren or my great-grandchildren going to be buying Freddo bars that are going to cost them the same price as a house costs people nowadays? I know money loses value, that sort of thing, like, or things lose value, you know, but I don't get it. I don't understand it at all. And Dale's like, well, every year the price of things goes up. Yeah, but if they stop putting the price of things up, then they could... Why does it have to go up? I just want to take a little pause in my rant here for a moment just to inform you what I'm showing you. So the builders came to do some work on the house And that was the mess they had left over. All those bits I was showing you. So we're going to get that cleaned up now. And I'm going to get back to my rant because I do want to understand what's happening. So I understand, like, obviously the farmers, they have bad crop yields and that pushes the price of certain things up. But surely when they have a good crop yield, that should come back down again, right? Why every year does everything go up? Like, are we believing? That might be the wrong word. Are we saying that the resources every year are getting less and less and more scarce and that's why it's costing more? But, I mean, either way, the resources are going to get less and less anyway. So, I mean, let's say, for example, peas are getting less and less, right? So the price of peas goes up because we're running out of peas. Does that mean then one day we're going to have one very expensive pea that literally nobody in the world will be able to afford one day? I mean, is that what we're saying? Because I don't know. It's just something I don't understand. When is it going to end? Are we one day going to be paying ridiculous prices for our Freddo frogs? Quite frankly, right now, I think we're paying ridiculous prices for our Freddo frogs. I want a Freddo for 10p. But these are just some of the things in this world that I just don't understand. I just don't. Is there a reason for them? Probably. Will I ever find out? Probably not. But, you know, when I'm driving to work sometimes, or I'm parked at work waiting to start, these are the thoughts that go through my head. Like the other day, I was driving to work and I was thinking about birds. Now, we all know when we cross that lovely rainbow bridge into the sky that there are places where we go, you know? There are headstones and that sort of thing, or even little plaques for when people are cremated. So we know where people go, right? Where are all the birds? You know, there are thousands of birds, maybe even more than that. But you don't, given how many there are, surely you would see way more, right? That have crossed over. You know? It just, I don't know. I know you see a fair few as you're driving along. Sure you do. But where are the rest of them? Where are the ones that crossed the Rainbow Bridge because it was just their time? They aged enough. Where are those ones? See? My brain. My brain has very many crisis thoughts like this, and I just spend ages obsessing about them. The last night, though, my brain decided to go off on a tangent, and I was trying to sleep. It was so hot, and I couldn't sleep. And then my brain kept me awake with the panicked thought of, what happens if I can't afford the cover charge for autumn? I mean, have there ever been a cover charge for autumn? Ever? Will it be like, you know, who's going to come to the house? Oh, yeah, look at that muck from where they drilled into the wall. Yeah, will someone come to the house? Will I get an email or a text message that says, I'm sorry, Mrs. Trotter, but if you can't afford the £7.50 cover charge for September, October, November, I'm afraid you'll have to sit those months out. Try again in December. I mean, why would my brain even think to come up with nonsense like that? Where does it come from? Where does it come? I'd love to know what part of my brain is connecting to what part of reality, or what part it thinks is reality, to make that kind of thought process happen. You know? Why am I worrying about a cover charge for a month? Like, yeah, okay, in September, October, November, you're gearing up towards Christmas, aren't you? A lot of us are starting to buy little tiny bits, the ones that are prepared early. We're buying little tiny bits, the odd present maybe. We're starting to think that way once the kids go back to school, certainly once Halloween's happened. We're starting to think, okay, let's start preparing for Christmas. So I understand if there would be a slight worry about, can I afford Christmas? Is that going to be okay kind of thing? But that's not what my brain was worrying about. It was worrying that I wouldn't be able to be or gain access to September, October and November if I couldn't afford the cover charge, like the door charge to get in. What ridiculous nonsense is that about? And I wasn't even watching anything specifically that could have triggered that kind of thought. I don't think. Mind you, I was watching a show where they were trying to get into a nightclub, but he wasn't refused because of payment. He was refused because he was wearing trainers. And back in the 90s, they wouldn't let you wear trainers in nightclubs. You had to wear shoes. So he was refused that. Maybe that's why. Maybe my brain grabbed hold of what was happening in the show and ran with it. Am I really that tired and really that susceptible to what's happening on screen that my brain is seeing the images on telly, and then as I'm trying to go to sleep, my brain is going, okay, well, we'll be in that kind of TV show, but we'll twist reality to fit. As I do this voiceover now, I'm currently laid on the bed and I just want to go to sleep. I just want to shut my eyes for, I don't know, half an hour, and just sleep. I did have some blood tests done. When I was taking, or now I'm taking the orlistat, I had to have some checks done on like vitamins, minerals and that sort of thing. My levels, get them checked. So I had a blood test done and I got the report back that said all my bloods were satisfactory. So I was like, oh, okay, cool, not a problem. And then I had to do a stool sample. Great fun, that. And I didn't understand why. Well, it turns out my blood test wasn't satisfactory like was reported on the NHS app. Turns out I am actually anemic, and they wanted to check I wasn't suffering blood loss that I wasn't quite aware of. So they tested other things to make sure that there wasn't blood loss that I wasn't aware of. But yeah, so I am anemic, and that is definitely going to be making me way more tired than usual. And maybe that's what made me more susceptible to what I was seeing on the show. I mean, it makes sense, right? It also may explain why I've not quite recovered from this cold fully. Like, I feel better. I'm not as blocked up, but you can still kind of hear it in my voice. Like, I'm still a little bit not fully over this cold. But yeah, hopefully the iron tablets he's prescribed will soon have me full of the joys of spring again and able to keep my energy levels high. It also doesn't help this heat. Extreme temperatures I don't do well in. Extreme cold makes me sleepy, and extreme hot has never made me sleepy before. However, I was a child the last time I think we had this beautiful weather for this length of time. I know we've had like the odd rainy patch that's sort of like interspersed it, and it's been a bit cold and miserable, but here in Lincolnshire it has been beautiful since, I want to say, like March, April time. It really has been gorgeous for the longest time, but this current run of heat really is taking it out of me, as well as the low iron levels. So yeah, hopefully, like I say, the iron tablets will have a wonderful effect. I'll be able to cope with the heat again, and I can enjoy this beautiful weather with the rest of you, because I'm sure you're out there lapping it up, enjoying it just as much as the next person. I've also got my leafy green veg I need to get in, so I'm going to pick some of that tomorrow. I love cabbage. Oh, cabbage is good. And what are they called? Brussels sprouts. Oh, I do love a sprout. So I'm going to get myself some green leafy veg as well, and hopefully that will help. I would prefer to get my vitamins and minerals in naturally, because I think they absorb better into the body if taken naturally. I find when you take iron tablets, you just end up a little bit constipated with coal coloured leavings instead of normal coloured leavings. And yeah, I'd rather just eat the natural stuff and have that absorb naturally and fuel my body nature's way. Oh, really, I would like to use the doctors more for tests to find out what's wrong and then use nature's way to fix it. I do understand that in some circumstances there are times and needs that medication will proceed and step forward, obviously, but to get my iron levels up, now I know they're low, I can do that by eating a better diet. I'm not a big fan of meat. He did ask, did I eat a lot of red meat? And I was like, well, no, not really. So yeah, I'm not a big fan of meat. I'd prefer to get mine through vegetables. So do keep a lookout, because I get the feeling there are going to be a few cooking vlogs in the not too distant future. They'll be fun. I kind of really want to do a few without Del. Like, I know you guys all enjoy, like, me and Del cooking and the the dynamic there. But I would like to try and cook on my own. It's not something I do very often. It's not something I'm very confident doing. It's not something, realistically, I'm even that capable of doing. But, I think it's probably time I start working out how I can do it. Maybe timers, maybe there's a way around it. Maybe I'll just do it with Del in the house so that he can remind me, ooh, you've got something cooking, and I can then go and deal with it. Maybe I can just have him there for some reassurance, but who knows? Who knows? Maybe I'll just stick with the dynamic that works and I will cook with Del being in the house. But I kind of like the idea of being this domesticated goddess. I mean, for years and years and years, I always wanted to be like one of those Stepford wives. I love that ideal. Now, is it a realistic ideal to have? I don't know. I mean, obviously there have to be some people out there that live that life, because at the end of the day, that ideal came from somewhere. And I've seen the Real Housewife shows. I know a lot of those are kind of put on for the cameras, or certain aspects could be put on for the cameras at least. But they still have to be their real lives. That still has to be how things happen for some of these people. And I would really, really like to live that way. That was spooky. I don't know if you heard that noise on camera. Hang on. Let me go back and just listen to that clip. Okay, so if you missed it the first time round, go back to where I throw the duvet from one sofa to the other. Like, I pick it up and I throw it across to the smaller sofa. Go back and you'll hear in the background a sort of a dudunk noise, like something falling over, something falling down. Now, that falling down sound is in the room with me, because to record this voiceover, I use wired headphones. So they're the old school headphones. They're not wireless. It clips straight into my phone, and I use that tiny little microphone thing that's on one of the wires to do this voiceover. So they're not very sensitive. They're not picking up a lot of sound around me. Like at the moment, I've got cars going past the house that I can hear, but you can't on the audio. The wind's blowing quite strongly, but you can't hear that on the audio. But I can hear it. I can also hear the cat flap in the background, because the little magnet at the bottom, that's slightly broken. But that dunk noise, that thing falling down, was audible enough for it to kind of make me jump, but also audible enough for it to be picked up by this microphone. So it was definitely in the room with me, but nothing has fallen down. Nothing's fallen down, but you heard the noise. Sometimes I think, ooh, did I actually hear that? Or, I wonder what that was. Could it have been something outside or a car going past? Or, I wonder what that sound was. But I went back and I heard it. That sound was in this room with me. And something fell down. But nothing fell down. Like, I'll be honest with you, I don't even know if... No, you can't. You can't hear that cat flap. It keeps clunking away in the background. It's in the kitchen. And right now I am in the living room. So, where you see me sitting on the screen now, emptying the bin, I'm literally doing this voiceover, sat in the chair where that little pile of the little pile of duvet and pillowcases and all that is. I'm literally sat right there. So the cat flap is in the kitchen, which is just off to the left of your screens. For those of you who know the house, you'll know the layout. But the cat flap is just over there. And you can't hear it. So that sound was closer to me than that cat flap was. It's very freaky. I don't know what it is. There has been an awful... I say an awful lot. There hasn't really been an awful lot. But there have been the odd things that have made me think... Oh, spooky. Yeah, and that's just one of them. I don't know. I kind of... Oh, that reminds me, actually. I was going to say, I kind of get the feeling I should be doing some paranormally type videos very soon. But I already promised you guys one, didn't I? I promised to go through some of the other videos and look for the orbs and then post a video of the orbs with the names of the people that found the orbs. I'm going to have to write a little note to myself to remind me I've got to get that done. I will get it done. Honestly, I will get it done. All these things I say to you I'm going to do, I'll do eventually. I'm just really not great at the time frame, keeping the time frames around things and doing them promptly. Someone did ask, and I think it was dragon fruit. Could have been. I'm not sure. But someone asked when I'd be doing longer videos, and I'm guessing they mean just on the Tuesday. Because at the moment, Tuesday, you've got your random videos, haven't you? Well, they were asking when I was going to do longer videos. With the randoms, I'm not sure. So the randoms are just a way of me moving into like proper vlogging, like lifestyle vlogging. At the moment, I've got the home decor, I've got my weight loss videos, and I've got the clean videos. Now, the cleaning videos, I quite like the setup I've got for them. I quite like how they're received. I like how I'm editing them. I really quite like how they are now. Will I tweak them in future? Yes, possibly, maybe. But for now, I really quite like the way they are. The Weight Loss Wednesdays, I'm very close to getting them just as I want them. I'd like to tweak them a bit more. I would like to have the confidence to exercise more on camera so I can take you through more of a journey with me. So cooking foods, buying the foods I want to cook, and the exercise and all that jazz. I want to do that a bit more. But I'm getting the confidence up really quite quickly with that. So it shouldn't be long before Weight Loss Wednesday becomes about as long as one of these house cleaning vlogs. Now, Weight Loss Wednesday, I originally started, I think, like 2019, because I remember COVID just became a thing. We'd just gone into lockdown a little while after I started filming Weight Loss Wednesday, and then I gave up because I wasn't able to stick to it. I was hopeless. So while I managed to film a good number of videos for Weight Loss Wednesday back in sort of 2019, 2020, that sort of time frame, I didn't really film a huge amount. Now I'm refilming Weight Loss Wednesday. I am getting the amount of video footage up. And again, I would like to end up recording Weight Loss Wednesday to be as long as one of these videos, and it shouldn't be too much longer before I get there. With your Tuesday videos, that's a whole brand new ball game for me. I'm having to get used to filming outside, talking to my camera outside, and it's making me feel very self-conscious. Now, obviously, so I say a lot, I've not done very many of the random Tuesday videos, but a fair amount of the Tuesday videos have just been inside. Now, most of the stuff I do inside is already covered in either my decorating videos, my house cleaning videos, or my weight loss Wednesday videos. So there's very little I can do on the Tuesdays for you guys. But I am boosting my confidence. Like I said, I am going out and I'm doing some more things. I am vlogging and I am recording, and I'm making, a big thing of it. I'm really trying to make a big thing of it. And the more I can do, the more I can vlog, and the better it will be. But I just have to get that confidence level up. So when will they be coming along? I would say they're going to get progressively longer over the next couple of weeks. And you're looking probably sort of September time for them to start getting to the same kind of lengths as the house cleaning video. Maybe October time. Certainly by the beginning of next year, your Tuesday videos are going to probably be as long as the house cleaning videos. At least that is my hope. That is my hope, my expectation for myself, that by next year I will have 3 regular videos that go out that will be the exact same length, give or take. They'll both be longer. All 3 will be longer videos. Because you guys deserve the longer videos, and I know you like watching the longer videos. Every time I put a longer video up, everyone's like, oh, I love a longer video. Thanks for doing the longer videos. I prefer the longer videos and all that stuff. So I know you love doing them. And I like recording them. One of the issues I do have is storage on my phone, which should be sorted very, very soon, hopefully. We are working on getting the camcorder set up and getting the software for the laptop so that I have more memory to film on. I also have more data memory to store the videos on, ready for editing and uploading, because at the moment I'm working with 2 iPhones. Both of them are so far beyond old, it is ridiculous. And one has already had the screen replaced, but we took it to like one of those places on the high street to replace the screen. It was Alyssa's phone, and then it was given to Craig. But Alyssa had the screen replaced on it many, many moons ago. And ever since then, it's not quite worked properly. The screen will randomly decide to do things, or it will randomly stop doing things. And you have to turn the whole phone back off and back on again. At one point, it tried to dial the emergency services for us. Well, actually, it succeeded in doing that. Screen was completely blank, and we had no way, we could not stop it making that call. Alyssa came running in. She's like, help, mummy. The phone's doing something and I can't stop it. So I had to speak to the operator and be like, I am really sorry. We can't end this call. Like, nothing is wrong. Nothing is happening. The phone is just having a funny 5 minutes. I don't know why. We can't even see the screen. We've no idea how it's phoned you or whatever. You can end the call. So the operator had to end the call for us. Thankfully, touch wood, it hasn't done that since. But this phone is past its prime. It really needs replacing. And I'm hoping the camcorder can do that. My actual phone, my phone that I use for my daily life and work and all that sort of jazz, I do use to record on. However, when I was doing the garden makeover, for some reason the tripod decided to have a panic attack and it toppled itself over. Now, it'd already done that once in the day, and I don't understand how. Tripods, by their nature, should be pretty stable, right? This one, no. Didn't want to be stable. And I've used that tripod so many times. It is my trusted tripod. The other one I've got falls over all the time. You look at it and it goes, no, and collapses to the ground. This tripod I've got, I have had for time. Bare amounts of time. Bits of it are being like held together with sellotape because I love this tripod so much. And I was using it to film the garden video. And it decided, like I say, just to have a panic attack, and it flopped itself to the floor. Fortunately, my phone landed right on the edge of the path, right on the corner, and it's cracked the screen. Not too badly. It's only sort of cracked in the top left-hand corner quite badly. And there's quite a significant crack about halfway down on the left-hand side. But there is one arc that runs from that top left side into the middle of the screen, down and round to the middle of the left-hand side of the screen. So from top left, the arc comes down and round to middle left. And that sometimes causes my phone to just go, no, I'm not doing it. No, sorry. So editing can be really, really tricky on my phones. Really tricky. Plus, for some reason, I don't quite understand how it works. I have loads of data on my phone, or I did have loads of data on my phone. But it would seem the more I record and the more I do, even though I delete everything. So as soon as the video has been uploaded and checked by YouTube for like copyright and all that malarkey, I delete the footage from my phone. It's gone, so I can record more stuff. But the other day I recorded like an hour of video. I tried to edit it. That was all fine. I then tried to upload it again. And it was a nightmare. I have to take things off of one phone and put it onto the other phone, or, move stuff about and shorten files down and do all sorts of things to try and get it to fit all on one phone. And it's getting really hard now to edit stuff and get it done. So again, I am hoping the laptop and the camera system will help sort that. Now, I did get my iPhone on contract, and the contract for that is now up, or will be up very, very, very soon, which means I will be able to get myself another iPhone. I am tempted to try the Galaxy or the Android. A Galaxy and Android the same thing? I don't know. But I'm not... There's two camps, isn't there? It's like Marmite. You're either a fan or not a fan. Or dogs and cats. You're either a dog person or a cat person. You're not both. Well, very few people are both. You tend to prefer one or the other. And it's the same for iPhone and Android, I find. You're either an iPhone user or an Android user. And most don't cross the boundaries. I know Kerry tried. Kerry is an avid Android user. And she tried herself an iPhone. And she doesn't like it. There's certain features she likes, but she wants to go back to Android. And I'm thinking it's going to be the same for me. I'll get an Android. There'll be certain features of it I absolutely love. But there will also be certain features of it that I absolutely detest. And I will want my iPhone back. And I think I'm just going to stick to the server that I prefer. And that would be iPhone. So, yeah, I might look at getting one of them. But then that means, like I say, I shall have 4 ways of filming content for you. 2 of the ways will be a tad unreliable. But if I've got 2 other ways to do it, then I can rely on the reliable ways and just have the other 2 as like backups to get footage and that sort of thing that I can then bring home and download to the reliable sources. And that just means making more videos, and making longer videos is going to be so much more easier. So it is all a plan. It's all in hand. I do have a plan for it. It's just waiting for those steps to be taken. I mean, to be fair, realistically, I've not been serious about making YouTube a career for myself up until very recently. I think that's the right way of saying it. So yeah, up until very recently, having a career doing content creation was one of those things other people did. It wasn't something I could do. Managing my own business, having like maybe even my own accountant, or, what are they called? A business advisor. Having stuff like that. it was just something other people did. And I wish I'd done it sooner, because sometimes in our lives we think, I'd love to do that. Oh, I'd love to do that. But that's something other people do, isn't it? That's something rich people do. That's something posh people do. That's something people who understand how X, Y, and Z works. It's something they do. That's not something a regular person can do. Yeah, it is. Yep, you have to figure it out. Sure, yeah, you're going to have to ask for help. And you can't be shy about asking for help either. You have to literally be like, from the rafters, hello, I need help. And yeah, accept help. Now, actually, that leads us, perfect timing, into this bed making. So the talking of wanting help. Now, we all know, or at least those of us living in the UK at the moment know, we're in the middle of a bit of a heat wave. Like, woof, is it warm? And I didn't want to make the bed on my own. I know, I took the bed covers and that off on my own, but I wasn't going to remake it on my own, because by this point in the day, it was swelteringly hot. We were going to go off to Skegness to enjoy a bit of the seasidey breeze to try and cool down in the evening. And we needed to get these beds remade, because I took everyone's bed covers off and got them all through the wash, ready to remake before we went to Skeg. So I asked for Dell's help. Now, we're going to notice what Dell does. We put the mattress protector on, the sheets on. We're about to put the duvet on. Now, he's making sure it's the right way round for me, so the label's not at the top. He does point it out to me, which end I need to use. And I expect he's going to help me, because, this is the hardest part, putting the duvet cover on. Are you inside out or outside in, or what the hell? What are you moving on to pillows for?
Black and cream. Black and cream.
There you are.
I think that's right. Go on, carry on. What you want?
I'm not doing the hardest bit on my own while you faff about with pillows.
Why not?
Because
Well,
just
where's the
no.
fun in that?
No, it's too bloody hot.
Lovely
Yeah,
sad
Adele
face.
pulling his
Oh,
sad
no,
face,
it's a
trying to
sad
get some
face
sympathy.
at the
It doesn't work. Why was he trying to move on to pillows before he helped me with the duvet? All I did was ask for help. Well, I didn't even ask for help. I expected help, and none came. Hang on. Why is the label? This isn't the right way round, is it?
No, I know, because I said the top seat.
So why?
Because I said you was going in front of you agreed to it.
I did agree to it, but clearly I was getting it wrong, and you're like, no, we'll just go along with it. She knows what 21, 22 years we've been together, and he still doesn't realise that even though I know what's happening, Brain isn't relaying that information to me, so I might know, but Brain doesn't know, and I'm going to get things wrong. He needs to retell me that information again. It's too hot.
Yeah.
Going to go spend a few hour or two by the sea. It was lovely, I must admit, our little trip to Skegness. So Alyssa was in the garden with Jaden making slime. I swear she's reverted back to her younger years. So her and Jaden were sitting outside on a couple of blankets in the sun next to the swimming pool making slime. They were having a great time. They decided they wanted to stay here. So myself, Craig and Dell all went to Skegness for the evening. We got some yummy icicle creams. And what else did we get? I got some donuts. I won some seagulls. I'm very much in love with the seagulls at the moment. I do love a seagull. And we were going to get a burger. I really fancied a burger, like a big, not like a McDonald's burger. I wanted like a big quarter pounder or something like that. And we saw a place that was selling them. And I was like, ooh, okay. We'll come back there in a minute. And we went back, and for some reason, everything in Skegness closes at about 7 or 8 o'clock. It's ridiculous. The place was still heaving. We are in the middle of a heat wave, right? There is money to be had off of early holiday makers in this heat. There is loads of money to be had, but for some reason, everything shuts down at about 8 o'clock. So we couldn't get ourselves a burger, so we had to get McDonald's instead. The McDonald's, obviously, because Skegness was absolutely heaving at that point, and McDonald's, the only place you could get a burger, it was also heaving. People were going through the drive-thru and having to park in the car park because they'd run out of park and wait bays. They couldn't keep up with the speed of cars coming through to get orders out. The queue inside was just diabolical. The tables were rammed. I mean, the staff, bless their souls, they must have been rushed off of their feet like you'd not believe. It was crazy talk. It really was bad. But we got our burger in the end. It was absolutely lovely, filled a gap, and we had the most amazing evening. It was so beautiful by the beach. I do love an evening by the beach, especially in this beautiful weather. I would go to the beach more. I wish we lived a bit closer. That would be, if we could pick this house and the garden up and move it just off the coast, I would be very happy. I mean, where we are at the moment, we aren't far from, like, the sea. But between us and the sea is, like, marshland. It's not sand. So you can't actually get to the sea. You can see it, but you can't walk along a sandy beach and then dip your toes in the waves. It's swampland. And you can't walk across it because you will sink. And it will be very unfortunate because then the tide will come in at some point and you will just be stuck. It's not advisable to walk across. I think actually it's fenced at some points. So yeah, we can't actually get to the sea from where we are, but it's not far. It's not far of a drive. 20 minutes, half an hour, maybe? Half hour, 45 minutes, not 20 minutes. I'm thinking the wrong journey. So about half hour, 45 minutes. It's not that far. It's not that bad of a drive. It's just one straight road too. The only problem we've got is when you get to Skegness is the parking. I cannot parallel park. Even though I learned how to do it, I can't do it anymore. I am totally incapable of parallel parking. Don't know why. Don't know what happened to it. I was taught how to do it. I even did it on my test. I was very good at parallel parking. And then I passed my test. I didn't do it for about a month. And then I needed to parallel park. And my brain went, nope, find somewhere else to park. So I often take money to use car park so I can just pull into a bay rather than parallel park. But if I go with Dell or Alyssa, they're not scared of parallel parking. They will do it. So I can actually go and have a day trip. If I go to Skeg on my own, I will go on the bus. It takes forever and a day on the bus. Or I could go by train, I suppose. I haven't done that in a long while, actually. I might go by train next time. I'm not sure how much the fare is by train anymore, actually. I do know here in Lincolnshire, our fare is capped to £3. No matter the journey, £3 cap. Although I think it's all journeys are £3. So if you're only going like 2 or 3 stops, it's still a £3 fare. But if you're going from like, what's it called? The start point of the journey until the journey's end, like the length it runs. Oh my goodness. Right, so if you're going from the very start of the bus route and you're going all the way to the end of the bus route, even if that's like 50, 60 stops, it's still £3. But like I say, if you go 3 stops, it's still £3. So yeah, it works out really quite good if you're doing the longer journeys, not so great if you're doing the shorter journeys. But obviously if the train fare is a lot more, then I'll do the bus. But if it's not much more and it's going to be a lot quicker, I will get the train. Actually, I don't even know if I'm brave enough to get the... Yes, I am. I was going to say I don't know if I'm brave enough to get the train on my own. I wouldn't have been before, but I did work on the trains for about a month. And I used to clean them. And I had to go to Derby and Lincoln. I didn't go to Lincoln on my own, took Dale with me, but I did do Derby and I did do somewhere else on the train on my own for a number of days running. I was very, very, very brave. I was absolutely terrified. Now, I don't know why the washing up has been put at the end of this video, because I was doing the washing up before I went to make the beds. But for some reason, we've mixed it all up. So we're just going to go with it in this order. And I'm going to do the washing up in rapid speed. I hate washing up. But that's fine, because I know I'm off for the evening in Skeg. And that's me done. I'll catch you in the next video. Bye for now.